look at the man's record at 20-odd knockouts in the first round.
I told you what has been hidden from the wise and the prudent have been revealed to the babes and the sucklings.
You'd pay to see his fights just to watch him f somebody up. It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. You would watch him execute guys.
The year is 1999. Ike Ibeabuchi has been a shadow lurking in the background of the heavyweight division for over a half a decade. But after a stiff increase in competition and a troubling life outside the ring,
accused of kidnapping his ex-girlfriend's son, who is autistic,
all eyes are now on him against the future world champion Chris Byrd. Can the president, Ike Ibeabuchi, continue to build up a great resume so early on in his career and establish this apparently future Mike Tyson as a genuine threat? Or will rapid-fire Chris Byrd use his middleweight body to outland and outsmart his opponent and show that this man is no threat at all, but a fluke, with the look of a champion but the future of a failure? Welcome back to Boxing After Dark. Tonight, we're looking at Ike Ibeabuchi's swan song, a placeholder night for the world of pugilism that hints at what could have been, what should have been, and how fate chooses its champions rather than the fighters themselves. Let's get into it. Ike Ibeabuchi is a tough figure to understand. From his alias of the president that he would dip in and out of depending on the day, his heavy but introspective biblical talk.
I did not come to fight flesh and blood here, but spiritual wickedness in high and low places.
Ibeabuchi was a phenom in boxing, and while he was dubbed to be the next Mike Tyson, many struggled to figure out whether it was due to the way he looked with his chiseled physique and bad boy persona or his impressive knockout reel and talent. It was hard to tell where the myths and truths of the president began and ended. But in a sport as unpredictable as boxing, it only made him more enticing.
He's not normal. He was never normal.
Intimidated the hell out of a lot of opponents. You just come in, growl, throw punches, and go home.
Things began as most great boxers do for Ike, by competing in amateur competitions and becoming a two-time Golden Gloves champion. Things looked promising for him, and the stars went from aligning to shining when the retired welterweight champ of old Curtis Cokes took Ibeabuchi under his wing and brought him into the professional limelight.
I think he can go all the way. He can do it all. He can box, he can slug, he's got ring generalship, he's a smart man. He can do the whole thing.
After 16 fights in his first 2 professional years, the comparisons between Ike and Mike continued. Would this man go on and win a title when so fresh to the professional game? Well, first, he had to beat someone of note. So the person he had lined up for his 17th bout was the undefeated, underrated, and overpowered David Tua.
Down goes Ruiz, and it's unlikely he'll be getting up.
It was officially showtime for Ibeabuchi, and it was a show he delivered. In the heavyweight bout, with the most punches landed in history, with 2 tanks duking it out for a grueling 12 rounds, the war was instantly dubbed a classic of boxing. The president's hype train was chugging full steam ahead, but unfortunately, Tua's bludgeon seemed to cause some mental troubles that on the outside were difficult to read.
accused of kidnapping his ex-girlfriend's son, who is autistic.
Just mere months after Ike's prestigious win, Ibeabuchi attempted suicide with an ex-girlfriend's son in his car. After a horrible crash, the 15-year-old was paralyzed for life, and many questioned if Ibeabuchi's time in the ring was up for good. Just a year later, though, Ike was back and ready for revenge on the world that forgot about him so quickly. And after a couple of tune-ups, we're where we are today, against the also undefeated Olympic bronze medalist Chris Byrd. The 2 touch gloves, and the bout begins.
Become a heavyweight, so he's packed on a lot of weight, but he hasn't overdone it. He fights at 208 3/4.
I would have tried to beat
Ibeabuchi reaching and trying to find a way to land his jab. That matters even more difficult against Byrd, and Byrd's eyes lit up. He said, I hope he tries to do that against me.
So it's a very tactical fight right here.
Tell you what, you'll find out how much patience Ibeabuchi has, because he'll have to be very patient here.
And Ibeabuchi so far has shown more patience than his critics might have thought he would.
He's got to punish him when he gets into those close situations.
Round 1 finds Chris Byrd doing what he does best, line up his shots and find openings off the back foot. Ike stays relentless in his pursuit for a knockout, but makes sure not to tire himself out against an excellent engineered fighter.
Make him pay.
12 by 12-foot basement gym in his home in Flint, Michigan. Gets Byrd back to the ropes, just misses with a right. Ibeabuchi's hand speed for a big man may be a new experience for Byrd. And landing a hard body shot. When you got a guy who's elusive in the head, as Byrd is, pounds Byrd back with a right to the chest. Just misses with a left. Ibeabuchi starting to tee off and swing wildly, but now the right hand lead lands for him.
Good right hand lead.
Hard right hand lands for Ibeabuchi and punctuates round 2. And be willing to take those shots that land. And is doing some excellent work. Oh, a hard right hand lands upstairs for Ibeabuchi. And he just misses with another. But that first right hand may be one of the hardest shots that Chris Byrd's ever taken. Byrd gets in a right-hand shot, momentum, but now Ibeabuchi works as Byrd goes back to the ropes.
Ibeabuchi is working the body.
Oh! Good left hook, Ibeabuchi. Another good left hook. And a third.
Now he cracked his foot, I believe. Yeah, he cracked his foot on the eye.
And Byrd is wounded.
Crowd loves it.
Who did more damage? You can't get fooled by Byrd's histrionics. You just got to look at it and say, who did more damage? So far, Ike did it in rounds 2 and 3. Teddy Atlas joins us at ringside.
He's got to learn to be consistent with his ability. He has ability. He's got to go the opposite of what he wants.
And Ibeabuchi goes to the body with a right and the left to punctuate round number 4.
If it bleeds, it looks like they're doing a good job with it. It looks like he's not a bleeder. Some guys are bleeders. He don't look like he's a bleeder.
All right, Teddy, thanks very much for joining us.
Pleasure
Congratulations again on the Kirk Johnson victory.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck down the road, Teddy Atlas.
To the judges that one guy has been hurt with something.
Oh, what a left hand! Byrd in serious trouble. Ibeabuchi with a monster left hook. Followed it up to the right, and Byrd for the second time in his career goes down. Trying to argue with the referee, Ron Rawl, about whether it was a knockdown. But come on,
he's out of here. He's hurting very bad. He doesn't even know where he is right now. He's trying to keep it down.
15 seconds left. He might make it out of the round. Here comes Ibeabuchi.
He'll never make it out of this round, Jim.
Hard left hook. Oh, they can stop it. They can stop it right now.
What is Byrd?
Ron Rawl stops it. Ron Rawl stops it. Ike Ibeabuchi has knocked Chris Byrd out.
A sensational victory for Ibeabuchi.
I think Ibeabuchi, Roy, just knocked him silly.
He knocked him silly. Chris Byrd is really not aware of what went on. Not that he's ignorant, he's not aware of what really was going on. He's not senseless right now.
Ike Ibeabuchi's post-fight interview is one of his most charismatic, praising Byrd's talent and implying that he came through against a great boxer rather than just a good one.
Chris Byrd is an elusive fighter, and that's why a lot of people don't want to fight him. The people, the judges, the commentators like you need this type of fight to make accurate and sincere judgment who the best young heavyweight is.
Chris Byrd's fight interview was unsurprisingly more gloomy, upset with the stoppage and slightly demeaning of his opponent's skill.
Yeah, he took his time, like I said, patient, and just caught me on the ropes. You know, my father tell me to stay off the ropes. I get hard-headed, I get comfortable there with a big, slow guy. And as I'm slipping and doing...
He ain't as big and slow as some of the guys you fought. Thank you a lot, Chris. Appreciate it very much.
Over time, Byrd has consistently praised the president as being one, if not the most formidable opponent he's ever faced. And when looking at the knockout, it's hard to disagree. Ibeabuchi, soon after this fight, would get himself entangled with the law yet again, ending up behind bars until 2015. After finally being released, Ibeabuchi announced a boxing comeback and insisted on continuing from where he left the fight game all the way back in 1999.
Ike Ibeabuchi is ready again, to dominate, to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.